Hi, this is Rainbow Harmony, here to help you find balance and peace to live a more colorful life. And this is a channeled message for the energy that is going on right now, or perhaps whenever you click on this, maybe it's a week or two after I've uploaded it, maybe it's the day I've uploaded it. I'm just intending that if you find this video and you feel compelled to click on it, that the messages will help you and uplift you and maybe help you kind of understand what's going on right now. So, first of all, I want to say that I'm moving to a new place soon, and I'm like just in this place for one night, and it's very loud. Like I'm like on a busy street, and there's like a bunch of motorcycles, and there's a lot of people in the building, and there's like people slamming doors and stuff. Like I kind of had to book it last minute, so I really wanted to wait to do this message, but I was like, you know what? I can't wait anymore. I need to just drop this download on you guys. Really, I never usually do readings like this very often, but I guess you could consider this video like a rainbow talk, and we're just gonna talk about where we're at right now. So we've got my wildwood and some cards here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the wheel of the year, about the cycles and seasons that we're going through. It has come to my attention that a lot of people are feeling very lost, very overwhelmed. The stories I've been hearing from you guys as my clients, from my friends, from people that I know, noticing what's going on in my life, my partner's life, like just, I've been realizing like that it's a lot of shit is going down. And so many people have been telling me stories about how like they lost their job and like their partner broke up with them like in the same day. There's this person that I follow who like randomly had to have her leg amputated. Like I've seen and heard people talking about how it seems like they're going through like the absolute hardest time of their life right now. And yes, this is something that really does happen naturally this time of year, and I just want to help show you guys that so you know that it's something that like you've been through before, you can make it through again. I want to uplift you and remind you of the cycles and seasons, and that before death comes rebirth. But I also want to kind of level with you guys and tell you that yeah, it's been rough. I mean, you can blame the astrology, Mars retrograde, some of the other. I was watching Channy Nicholas or Channy Nichols. I don't know if you guys know her. She's one of my favorite astrologers. She's posting some stuff about some of these transits the last couple days. Whoo, it's been a time, and you're not alone. So here's the wheel of the year, okay? We've got different cycles and seasons that we go through. Right here, we are just about to go into the Midwinter Solstice at the time that I'm doing this reading. So we are at it, this interesting quadrant here. Then we've got the time of arrows, air, the spring equinox. Basically we've got death and rebirth here. We've got up and down, hot and cold, dark and light. We've got the contrast. I talk a lot on the channel about how sometimes the trees have to lose their leaves and shed in order for them to regrow and bring those beautiful leaves and harvest that beautiful fruit. So that's us right now. We're shedding our leaves. We're like the tree that is stuck and spindly and kind of hibernating, and it's a tough time, It's hard to feel like you had it all and then you lost everything. It's hard to go through these changes. So I want to read a little bit from the book. I want to talk about this. This is where we've been. Basically, this card right here, the death card. We just had this crazy full moon in Gemini with that Mars retrograde aspect, and this just happened a couple days ago or like last week, who knows, and it hit everybody so hard. Okay, so let's talk about the journey. Let's talk about death. Let's read a little bit from this book. It's time to face the inevitable, to let the bones be laid bare and acknowledge the deepest aspects of your fears and desires. That is what's going on. Fear is coming up. You reap what you sow. We're realizing that we planted some beautiful seeds, that there are some things that are coming into fruition. There are some things we're manifesting, but there might have also been some things that we've neglected. There might be some old ways that have perished. There might be some old concepts that just aren't working for us. There might be old lifestyle choices, old relationships that have outgrown their purpose, old jobs or things we've chosen that just aren't working for us anymore. It's like we're getting ready for change, and change is really difficult. For us as humans, we are like hardwired and programmed to almost avoid change, to stay with what is familiar, to stay with what's comfortable. And so that's why change is hard, because it makes us uncomfortable and we have to outgrow old things and we have to face a lot of uncertainty. And the number one fear that most people have is the fear of the unknown. A lot of us would rather choose the devil that we know instead of the devil that we don't. Have you ever heard that? The devil you know? A lot of people would rather stay in a horrible, broken situation than face the unknown or have to go up against uncertainty. But in order for us to grow, we have to shed these things. So it's hard. This says, do not fear change, because this is also a time of purification and realignment. Sometimes these destructive things do come into your life to push you somewhere better. And as cliche as that sounds, I find that to be true over and over and over again in my life. Now, I know that there are some people who think, oh, you can manifest if you just are very detailed and you write it out exactly how you want it to happen. Everything's going to be smooth process. And that does happen sometimes. A lot of times you can manifest a beautiful, smooth transition. But I think that has a lot more to do with your mindset. Because if you think about it, stars are born out of chaos. And chaos is like the raw material of this world. Everything is moving and everything is vibrating. Everything's always shifting and changing. And so we have to be like water. We have to flow. We have to move. We have to go with the flow. If we hang on, to that branch in the middle of the river and try to fight it, we're just going to get tired and scared and fearful and beaten down. We got to let go and let the flow take us. It's hard, I know it's frustrating. I know it feels unfair. I know it's hard when it feels like everything's just falling apart and nothing's going your way. And by all means, allow yourself to break down. Allow yourself to feel your feelings. Allow yourself to get on your knees and cry if that's what you need to do. Allow yourself to be afraid for a little bit and go through that natural process. But what we're getting ready to do is we're all getting ready to pick ourselves back up. We're all getting ready to purge that energy and purify that so we can realign ourselves and make better choices and get more clarity on where we want to go and make that happen. So that's just what this is about. Just like watch the animals, go out in nature, watch the life cycle. And I don't, care what side of the equator you're on. This is an energy this time of year. And so you could be living somewhere tropical where everything's always thriving, but these death and rebirth cycles cannot escape, you cannot escape them. So this says this change may seem extreme and destructive, but old crops must be cleared for new growth to thrive, and static or sterile modes and concepts must perish. So it's hard and it does seem really destructive. But what I really like about the concept of death in this deck specifically is they talk about like celebrating sometimes what's past. Let's say that you're getting rid of a job, like your job situation has become really toxic and it's difficult and you're ready to like leave and you're looking for a new job. You can hold space for how did I get here? I'm so frustrated. My boss is a narcissist. I'm like desperate. Like I'm freaking out. Like it's difficult to find this new position, while also holding space for the fact that at one point you really wanted that position. At one point you really needed that job and you grew a lot and you have this wonderful thing on your resume now. And you can use that as leverage to get into a better position and to be proud of yourself for drawing this boundary and being willing to walk away even if it's uncertain. you know? Maybe you're in a breakup right now, or you just broke up with someone. You can be mourning that loss and upset about what led to that and, just the horror of it. But you can also, hold space for the fact that you're going to move forward and you're going to take the lessons and the blessings from the relationship and move on, that you're strong and that you can do this on your own and you will attract a higher love. Perhaps you're dealing with death, a loss. A lot of people pass to the other side this time of year. And you can hold space for the grief and the mourning and just like the abandonment and the trauma and just like how just insane the death is and just how limited your time on earth is and that depression and that grieving process, while also holding on to the memories and celebrating that person's life and being grateful that you had the time you did with them. And you don't have to be fake positive all the time. You can grieve and mourn and take your time with this. That's the point. A celebration of the past or an acknowledgement of the passing of one part of life may be required. I love this part. Let the threads of the old slip from your fingers with joyful remembrance and enter this time of withdrawal and renewal with patience and calm. The dust is going to settle. Dust is going to settle, and we're getting there. We're so close. You might even already be there. The dust is going to settle. You're going to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath with me right now. I feel so good. And the dust is going to settle, and things will become clear. This too shall pass. Let's move on to the hooded man, okay? So next, we've got the hooded man, okay? Right here, the wheel of the year. This is literally where we're at, the 21st of December. It's approaching. Midwinter Solstice, right here, okay? It's time to withdraw. It's time to rest. Let's find the hooded man. Whoops, I think it's over here. There's the Great Bear. Save that for a minute. Now, I actually lost this card. It's so weird, but before I left to travel the world, I was like doing readings out in nature when I first started the channel, and I lost my hooded man card. And for me, it was almost like a symbol of like, I need to come out of hiding. I need to come out of hibernation. I need to go out in the world. So I don't have this card in my deck. Always pay attention when you lose a card. It's a huge, huge message. But let's talk about the hooded man, okay? This is basically the hermit in the regular tarot. Hermit season. It's hermit season, y'all. The time of the hooded man is here. Whether he appears in the guise of an inner guide and mentor, or simply as a state of mind, you will understand that now is a time to withdraw and rest. The truth is, if you push up against this energy and you try to fix it and you try to control it, you're only going to get more resistance. Resistance makes stronger. There is a time to push and there is a time to fight. So some of you guys might need to do a little bit of that, but there's also a time to rest and withdraw and be receptive. And I think a lot of us might have control issues and we have a hard time with just letting go and surrendering. And this energy is forcing you to surrender. Even where we're at this time in the moon cycle, as I do this reading, we just passed the full moon, and now we're entering into the balsamic moon, the waning moon. And this is the time where we rest, we relax, we surrender, we take good care of our bodies, we sleep, we're just human, we establish ease for ourselves. We lost touch with these cycles. And, this is where we're at in the moon cycle. This is also where we're at in the wheel of the year. So if you try to push too hard right now, it's not going to be good. Now follow through with any commitments you need to follow through with. Some of you guys might have deadlines. Some of you might be like, I can't afford to stop right now. Like I'm so close to like this manifestation or achieving this goal. But just make sure that you make time for the rest. Make sure that you do what you got to do, but you establish ease for yourself and really make that your focus. After a long journey, and this is the Wildwood Tarot, this whole book and deck is about the journey through the wildwood. It's kind of like this like parable or metaphor of like your journey through life, the wheel of the year, the cycles, the seasons, kind of like the fool's journey in tarot or the hero's journey in like art, literature, movies, very similar. So basically after your journey, many emotions and experiences need to be absorbed. After this whole year of 2022 and all these crazy planet things and retrogrades we all went through, and I know like in the spiritual community, in astrology, there's always some kind of crazy retrograde. There's always some, oh no, Mercury, or, you know, a lot of that is hyped up to get you to click, to get you to buy. These cycles and seasons are always going, but really, ask any astrologer and they're going to tell you 2022 is different. Okay, yeah, 2020 was we all know what happened that year. But the last few years it's been tough. There is a huge shift happening on our planet right now. The age of Aquarius, I don't know, the Mayan calendar shit, you know if you guys heard about how like, oh, it's supposed to end in 2012, but really the Ethiopian calendar puts that to 2020. And so like there's kind of a big paradigm shift, age of Aquarius, however you want to understand this or relate to it, or whether it's just common sense of realizing, wow, we had a huge global trauma a few years back and now things are different and we're all having to make changes. There's been a lot of shit that has happened and we need to absorb these experiences. We can't just keep going and pretending like nothing's changed. So the Hermit, the hooded man, is here, I love how it says, this is the beginning of understanding, not just of yourself, but of the universe. I think everybody's kind of drawing their own big picture conclusions right now about this world. And whatever conclusion, for some people, they're realizing like, oh, the world is full of fear and greed and suffering, recession, it's run by these crazy elites and it's a slavery, the matrix, whatever. Like, yeah, shit's falling apart. The divine or the masculine is patriarchy. The system is crumbling. Old ways are perishing. A lot of changes are happening. We've had this crazy, fast advancements in technology we can hardly keep up with that are causing big shifts. It can seem like a very scary time, but I think you can come to your own conclusions. Everyone has to decide, how am I going to help the situation? How am I going to give back to Mother Earth? How am I going to protect Mother Earth? But before you can do all of that, you got to help yourself. So I think we can't just all be social justice warriors on Instagram or online, typing a bunch of angry stuff on Twitter or whatever. That's not going to help, It's good to have a voice. It's good to speak your truth, but what are you doing in your life? What are you doing every day? What are you doing in your morning? How are you getting yourself healthy and healed and in a good vibe so that you can create a beautiful life for yourself? I believe that peace on earth happens one person at a time. The best thing you can do to help this world and this planet is to create peace for yourself, whatever that means. It's not about perfection, but I think a lot of us get distracted by this fear. A lot of us get distracted by this stuff in the media. You have to realize it's all a program. A lot of it's not real. They need you to buy into this fear to help create their vision. And you don't have to do that. You can create your own vision. It's not about being delusional and plugging your ears and going, la, 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 I can't hear it, with all the, horrible things that are happening in the world. Some of us are called to stand up, fight, speak out, but you gotta take care of yourself first. And, this says the hermit or the hooded man appears differently for everybody. Some people might decide right now to go on vacation, to have some solitude in the mountains, a lot of prayer. I've been finding myself praying and doing a lot of tarot readings for myself lately and for others, of course. It's been helping. Meditation, maybe going on a holiday in a secluded place or just spending more time inside. maybe doing some cleaning and creating a safe space for yourself. This says, the hooded man or this time is going to illuminate the way to the heart of the endless cycle of being. You might realize it's very intense this year, but you've been here before and you've made it out, and you'll make it out again. So the last card I've got here on the Wheel of the Year, this is where we're headed to, is the Great Bear. Okay, this is also connected with this time of year. Right here, part of the Midwinter Solstice. So all these cards, all these energies we've been talking about, that's like where we're at this time of year. Let's talk about this, and then I'll briefly talk about what's coming next just to uplift you. But let's talk about this card, okay? This one I pulled so much during the pandemic. It was like, I would always tell people, like, get in the cave. It's time, this is like lockdown. This was like, this card came out so much. It really was about going within for a transformation. I think a lot of people are really triggered because of that. Like, this is hard to almost have to go back within, to have to go back inside. It could be literally because of the weather and the darkness and the cold, or it could just be like you need to kind of hermit and shelter yourself right now, like emotionally process, like we were just talking about. I think it's very triggering after we just did that for so long, just the other year. So anyways, the only thing in life that is assured is that if you wait long enough, it will change. How you survive that change and who you are after it is up to you. So some people, like I said, like in the river, that metaphor of hanging on to the tree and like in the middle and like the water's rushing past you and you're not letting go, like change is gonna come for you. And you can try to outrun it. You can try to keep things the same. You can try to keep making the same choices. You can live like it's Groundhog Day, the same day over and over again, but eventually something's going to come and push you and make you change. And that change can often be destructive. It's not like, oh, if you don't make the choice to change, the universe is going to smite you and you'll get punished. I don't think that God or the universe is a little kid with a magnifying glass on us like ants. It's just, you look around and you're going to see these forces. Wildfires, floods, the changes, the reckoning. So the question is, how are you going to survive this, and who are you going to become after this? It's happening, it's here, you can't outrun it. So there are going to be some choices you're going to have to make. Don't worry, you don't have to make the choices yet, but this will be put upon you at some point. The major element in this process is judgment of yourself and others. Now, judgment, that can sound very negative, but the truth is, at times throughout our lives, we have to go around and we have to judge or decide, is this good for me or not? Is this healthy for me or not? Is this friendship serving me, or is it toxic? Has this situation become toxic? Is this, the food I'm putting in my body, is it serving me? Is it helping my vessel, or is it hurting it? You could have your body flaring up and trying to speak to you right now. And even though like it's difficult because we want always looking for someone else or something to blame, you always have choices you can make, and you can always cut cords and release things and move in a better direction no matter what the situation is. You can always choose a better mindset. Not to be mean to anybody right now who's in a horrible mindset, because I was been there myself, and you have to allow that. But eventually you have to decide, okay, what am I going to do about this? How am I going to take responsibility? So this may relate to an assessment regarding a personal matter or situation, or could be linked to the process of forgiving. Forgiveness is hard for me. There's been a lot of people that done me wrong in my life, and forgiveness doesn't mean that you tolerate or you continue to put up with a certain choice or decision or relationship. You can draw boundaries, you can walk away, but forgiveness is more like not blaming and not judging yourself for like getting in it or what happened. It's more about the choices you make to move forward, how you see the situation, we can really, like, in these types of situations, it's easy to blame everyone else. The man, the system, the recession, the ex-best friend of me, the ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or partner, the toxic workplace, the the pandemic, and very well those things are real and have hurt you and are unfair. But ultimately, you can't use that as your excuse your entire life to not make something beautiful for yourself. Everybody is worthy to create a beautiful life, no matter what happens. And it will always be a world of contrast. There will always be chaos coming to push you to keep growing, evolving, making changes. But you don't have to let that thing or that situation be your identity. You don't have to keep telling that story. So some of us are being called to let go of old stories, to let go of blame, to let go of that judgment, and to be a little bit more open-minded. It may also relate to a group or social decision. In the process of judgment, both as an individual and on the universal level, honesty is the key. This is very much a message of you reap what you sow. This time of year, like if you didn't plant the seeds, they're not going to grow. If you didn't save a little bit of money in the summer or the spring or fall when harvest season was here, and you just squandered your resources and didn't prepare, the winter sometimes is very harsh. Like our ancestors, they would have to really prepare for this time of year. And we're so disconnected from nature these days in our modern society that sometimes we forget, like you energetically, you still have to prepare. And so some people have not prepared and it's showing. And I think there's little areas of our lives where we might realize we didn't prepare, we didn't plant the seeds, and it's hard. We didn't do the work, So it's like, don't be hard on yourself and then beat yourself up and blame yourself for that. It is what it is. But there is kind of like that energy. Also, don't think that you're getting punished by the universe. Oh, you reap what you sow. Like you might realize this is part of your manifestations. Like you actually did plant the seeds metaphorically, and this is just part of the shift that's going to bring you that harvest in the spring. This is just part of the natural process. Like everything's fine. You'll probably be seeing signs of that. But there are always areas we need to improve in. And there's always areas where we've done great and we're being blessed, It's just part of it. Be honest, be forgiving, be patient, but most of all, be assured change is at hand. I love this sentence here. Remember, the universe has a long memory. Nothing is ever forgotten. So I think there are some people who are wondering, like, is this person ever going to get their karma? Is justice ever going to be served to me? Do I keep having to go through this over and over again? I've done so great. Like, I feel confident in the choices I've made. Like, why is my deliverance not here? Why do I have to go through this again? And I just employ you to and urge you to start looking for the ways that the situation really is changing. For you to have a little bit of a sense of humor, if possible, every situation's different, about kind of why you're here again or what keeps happening. Notice the patterns and the cycles in your life and tell yourself, you know what? No, I'm going to break the cycle this time. This is not how my story ends. I am excited for this opportunity. I'm going to make it out of here. I'm rising, I'm like the phoenix from the ashes. This is the ash, the dust is settling, but I'm going to be that phoenix, So final messages. By the way, what comes after death is rebirth, okay? On the cycle here, you're about to get some big rewards. There is a time of, let's see here. We've got the sun coming. We've got enlightenment. We've got some good stuff. What goes up must come down. What goes down, we got up and down. We're going back up. This time of darkness will pass. We're gonna get our rainbow after the storm. But this just might be where we're at right now. That's okay. Make peace with it. Final messages. We are all manifesting our desires. You probably went into 2022 going 222. I'm going to manifest everything. I'm making a vision board for my dream house and my dream job and my, I'm going to get a new car or like I'm going to travel or I'm going to, I'm going to bust out of this situation. I'm going to be a millionaire. I don't know. You probably did some crazy stuff and that's why you're here. Okay. Maybe that's why it's hitting harder. If you're going to ask for some big things, you need to be prepared for some big shift. You have to be prepared to change, to rise, to receive those things. And a lot of crap's got to be cleared out to make room. So you did it to yourself. Just kidding. I don't want to victim blame anybody. Crazy stuff's happening right now. You don't deserve it. But this could be a portal of manifestation for you as well. Be passionate. These feelings, anger, frustration, the tears, whatever it is, it's a passion. It's because you care. You're breaking down. You're upset because you care. You care about yourself. You care about your life. You care about your dreams. Don't give up now, A lot of people are longing for just a place they belong. Like, I just want a patch of grass. I just want peace. I just want my soulmate or my future husband or whatever. I just want a job that takes good care of me and I can support my family with. I just want, friendship or a safe place or whatever. I hear these things, like I'm hearing like everybody just like, I just want to feel safe. I just want to belong. And you're creating that energy within you. You're creating an anchor and a safe space where you always belong. And as cheesy as it sounds, like that's your heart, your soul, your spirit, your mindset. Like those are things no one can ever take from you. Everything can be taken, but they can't take that from you. No one can take your passion. No one can take the fact that you were born here to this earth and you belong here. You have a place here. There's a reason. And society and the man in the system and everybody can tell you this is what you're supposed to do. This is what life's supposed to be about. This is how you're supposed to live. And you can reject all that and say, this is where I belong. This is what I'm going to choose. You might have to play the game to get there. You might have to like navigate that crazy system. You might have to, fight there. But you have your choices and no one can take that from you. No one can take your heart, your soul, your passion from you. Your guides are also saying right now, everybody's kind of going crazy, but the dust is going to settle over the next couple of days and it's going to be a great time to meet up with friends, to meet up with other people and to just have fun and play and celebrate. I mean, we have some holidays coming up. I know not everybody celebrates them, but I think, you're going to hug your friends or your family and there will be tears and a lot of people are going to be just so thankful to hear from you. You're going to maybe have people reaching out you haven't heard from in a long time. Your soul family will become more apparent because they're the people that always come back when you're going through hard times or that just tend to show up when you need them the most. Maybe you're going to be called to be that person for somebody, but I know you're going to have that person or those people there for you too. And I think this is also reminding you that the whole world, last thing I'm going to say, long reading, but this is going to remind you too, this last card, that the whole world is a stage. Shakespeare said that. And, yeah, everybody's in a little mini universe of their own creation. The whole world is a play. And you can change your role at any time. You can decide you want to be a different character. You can decide how the play is going to finish. You can decide how your story is going to end. You can play the game. You can game the system. You can alchemize this situation. And I hope that you do, because I know you're destined for great things. I know you're going beautiful places. And I know that this is not where your story or where your play ends. So I hope that this helped you. If you listened to this whole thing, please write me a comment below. If you want to share what you're going through and just get it out and dump it below, do it. I'm going to try to reply to everybody. I might not be able to write a long reply, but if you write a comment below, I will reply to you. I'll heart it. I'll let you know that it's been seen and heard. I'm sorry for everybody going through tough times. And just drop some love below. If you feel like you want to leave an inspiring message for anybody that happens to be reading the comments, then leave that inspiring message. Let's just boost each other. Let's just lift each other up. And that love reading I've been promising you all is coming to the channel. And with that said, if you need help and support right now, I am available. I got my shit together. I can do some readings. Don't feel pressured. This is just for anybody who feels called to, connect with me, have a Skype chat, or maybe you need a same day reading. Maybe this has inspired you. You want to talk about something right now, get a message. Just check out my website. The information's below. But by all means, feel free to just take this message and receive it. You don't have to give anything back. You already give me so much just by being here and hitting that thumbs up and leaving the comment and just supporting me. When I just see that even one person has watched this and I can just help one person, that makes my day. So thanks for being that person for me, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.